Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the PRCS League here as we head to New Hampshire for race number 8 of the season. My name is Joey Stone. Joining me in the booth in just a moment will be Shady, our co-commentator here for race number 8. After a insane race last week, the PRCS guys will be heading to New Hampshire here. A short track slash, intermediate track, so to say, as we've already gotten the command to join the lobby. We'll go ahead and get in here and get to the track here. But it's great to have you all here. Thank you again for being here for, once again, another broadcast here on the YouTube channel. And we're going to go ahead and bring Shady in here, our color co-commentator here. And joining, of course, in the booth with me, again, Shady. Shady, this race is going to be a hectic one here. A race that's going to go by pretty quickly, but every position matters a lot here. What do you think is going to happen here at New Hampshire with these guys going for a win?
I think you're going to see a lot of side-by-side racing tonight, Joey. We're at the Magic Mile. Magic is going to be made tonight, brother. These guys are going for it. There's 5 late races left in the regular season, so it's go time, Joey. I'm expecting to see some bumping, some grinding, some everything. These guys are going to be up on the wheel. We're going to see some hardcore racing tonight.
5 races to go into the regular season, so now is your time to win. You cannot waste any more time. It is time to go if you want to make a run to make it into the playoffs. A few names definitely for sure, don't need to worry about that, like names like Clashin, Mike RPM, Slade Grave, but ones in the bag like maybe Brennator or DK Brown back there, Galaxy, just to name a few. They are going to go for their first win of the season, hopefully, here at New Hampshire. Let's go ahead and get to the track here, and we'll show you our starting lineup for today's race. And there are the cars around the track here. Now that we got our music kind of cut away right there, a little technical difficulty in my part right there. Apologies, but let's go ahead and break it down with your starting grid for today's race here as they head to the on their last pace lap. In row 1 will be Chase Williamson along with Slade Grave. Row number 2 is going to be DB. Next to him, teammate JWoww. Row number 3 going to the back, though, will be Sharpay in the 25 with Mike Bross on his outside. Row 4 will have Flash 9, who won his first race of the season last week with Kill It Like Jason in 8th. Row number 5 will be Clash and the dominating driver of the season with DK Brown in 10th. Brennator and Galaxy in row number 6. Row 7 is In a Town and Perky. The next row will be Favre and Taddy, then P. Colligator, Davey Allison, and Smoke Fan rounding out the field. Heading out of turn number 4, Chase Williamson looks to take the green here, and we are underway at New Hampshire. As they head out of turn number 2, side by side, Slade Grave with a huge launch into turn 3 from the outside. That is definitely a groove that we're going to be seeing later on, Shady. The outside may not be the preferred groove, but you will see it on restarts work effectively. But one thing we have to worry about is the tire management using that top line. The more you arc that car, the more that rear tire is going to fade away.
Absolutely, Joey, absolutely. New Hampshire is famous for a little bit of tire wear and the cars getting real loose on the long runs. And as you said, you're seeing that the main groove, the groove that these guys love, is right there in that second and third lane. Now, I spoke to some guys earlier this morning, Joey, and a lot of these guys on these fresh tires, they want to try to use that P1J in that first lane that we're kind of starting to see maybe starting to work up here a little bit. And then as the run goes on, they'll want to start to use that one lane coming out of the corner. So it's going to be real interesting to see the different lines that these guys take.
Absolutely. We talked about that PJ1 on the bottom or so. That's definitely where you want to be to save the most tire. When you want to use a lot of tire, you want to arc that corner. You're going to get a great run off the corner and whatnot. And we saw Slade use that to his advantage to take the lead, but already getting some pressure from that 95 of JWoww, who had a really strong car last week, just did not get the result. He is pounding on the bumper of that 21 car as ahead into turn 3.
And I spoke to JWoww earlier this afternoon, and I talked to him about that race last week. and he said that that was the worst race that he's been in recent memory. He lost his position in the points race. He was in second. He is now in third. Flash 9 took over that second spot. So I talked to Jay Well about it and asked him. I said, "What's your focus going on, with the points?" And he said, "I got to put that race behind me. I got to do what I got to do, and I got to focus on stage points and getting a good run here, and putting that last race behind us and getting a good solid finish and go for a win tonight." Look for Jay Well and his partner Clashin to be really strong here. This is a very strategizing track. You have to use a lot of strategy, and anytime you use strategy, just like we saw in Richmond, those JCR guys are going to be good. So watch both of them tonight.
Absolutely. The JCR boys always seem to have speed, and right now, a great battle here for the lead. We talked about JWoww going for a better race result, maybe some stage points, a stage win, and right there, he was fighting Slade Gray for that lead, but already losing a little time right here, but Slade moves up the track a little bit to get a better arc. JWoww sticking to the bottom, a good exit for the 95, and takes about half a car length back of that distance. Let's see if he goes for the lead here. He's going to go arc that corner here in 3. Slade's going to play the defensive mood. The JWoww's going to back off that corner, get back on the gas, but Slade Gravett pulling some great defensive driving at the moment.
He is driving with his mirror. He has actually adjusted his line to JWoww's line a little bit and using the track to his advantage and using those lines to his advantage. Now, the one thing that I'm waiting to see here, Joey, is that seam right there in between lane 1 and lane 2. There's that seam in the pavement. I'm interested to see if these guys, as these cars loosen up, if that tire clips that seam on that pavement, it's real easy to spin right around. So it's going to be interesting as these guys loosen up in lane 1 and 2 and using that PJ1.
Absolutely. Later into the run, you're going to see these guys start to get a little bit more loose, especially a track like this with New Hampshire that doesn't have that much banking. You think your tires are going to last, but it's around lap 12 or 13 of the run when you start to notice how your tires are going to handle. Having ran New Hampshire in the Pro League with some of the biggest names in the eNASCAR world, I can verify these cars are going to get loosey-goosey. You are going to see these guys get very loose here very, very soon and see whose cars are better adjusted for the long run compared to the short run. Right now, Slade Gravett and JWoww 1-2, bumper to bumper, about maybe 8 to 9 tenths of a second ahead of Clashin, who now takes over third place from Mike Bross. DB rounding out the top 5. And a battle for the lead here as they head out of turn before, side by side. Here comes JWoww on the inside of Slade Gravett. Give that lap to the 21 car. Expect a little bit of a dive bomb here. He goes to that yellow line, under it as a matter of fact. But Slade Gravett's going to hold that top and get that arc. Maybe has some momentum to clear the 95, and he does.
He's just able to get that momentum on that top side when you're on that bottom. And I spoke to Clashin about this earlier today, and being in that first lane, and you're in that first lane coming off of the corner, you can't get the momentum that we just saw Slade able to get in lane 2. So he's running that line perfect to the exact way that he wants. Now, as we see, look at here, JWoww looking underneath again. Is he going to get a run this time?
Good run. The 21 seemed to have shot up the track just a little too much, but Slade, again with that outside momentum, clears the 95. Now the 95 is going to try to take Slade's lane and try to arc that corner to get a run. But that's the thing we talked about, Shady. Slade Gravett, someone who has 2 years of Pro League experience. He's raced with everybody with custom setups day in and day out. He knows this track like the back of his hand. He actually did win here in the Pro League due to fuel strategy 2 years ago. So Slade Gravett, pretty well known to win at tracks like New Hampshire, so not surprised one bit we're seeing him hold the lead. But look no further. Look who's in third and catching these two. It is Clashin in the 51 car, flying up to the front. We mentioned he got past Mike Bross for third, but now he is pounding, and I mean pounding, literally right there on the back bumper of the 95 as he sends it into turn number 1.
And Clashin, he has a strong car, very strong car. He did not have the qualifying that he definitely wanted. He actually started back in 9th position in the starting field, and here he is battling his teammate for second, Joey. Look at this.
Oh, McClashin hits the pit road wall. He hits the wall out of turn number 4. Barely makes it out. He looked like he may have hit the seam, got loose into the wall. We just talked about him What a save, but that is definitely going to hurt the 51 here for stage 1 if we go green. Shady, we talked about it. We talked about that lane right there, and oh, that is such a tough break right there. Let's see if that 51's got any damage. Yeah, you can see a little crinkle on that right front. He's now back in traffic here. But you talked about, Shady, that seam right there. It's risky. It may be worth it, but it's a huge risk versus reward for these drivers.
And we saw it in the beginning of the run, Joey, that when you have fresh tires, it's real easy to make that turn, that transition from lane 2 to lane 1 coming off the corner. But as that fuel burns off of the back end, that back end gets lighter, you hit that seam, and that back end just wants to swing around at you. That's what's famous here at New Hampshire. Now, there is a little bit of an incline on the banking as it goes up, so some of those guys want to use that. But as you see, Clashing now is falling back into traffic. He'll gather himself up. Don't worry about him. He'll be fine. But some of these other guys that we're looking at here is Mike Bross. I'm interested to see how Mike Bross does, as Mike Bross now is falling back to 4th spot behind Flash. And Flash has moved up to 3rd, so we're starting to see some points guys starting to make their way up.
Absolutely, and one driver who's actually fallen back is Chase Williamson, who started on that front row. He's fallen back to about the 6th, 7th position right now. A little surprised, though, Shady, that that Chase is a little further on back. I feel like this is a track where he could take advantage or so. He's really good when it comes to holding his line and whatnot, but like we mentioned, New Hampshire's a track that really doesn't have that much banking whatsoever, so could this track not really play into Chase's favor? I mean, this would be a little bit bigger story if the 14 had not won any races or had those great finishes, but just kind of goes to show you how different tracks bring different drivers out. As Chase Williamson, someone who always seems to run top 3 on average every single week, struggling a little bit here, back in the 6th position.
That is kind of surprising, man, because I also talked to Flash 9, and I talked to Flash 9 this afternoon, and he actually said that the person that he's interested on being the man to beat was Chase Williamson in that 14 car, who started on the pole, but as you said, has definitely dropped off and tailed off here, as we got a lead for the lead, a lead change here, Joey.
Battle for the lead once again. Slade Gravett and JWoww, these two have been duking it out. Can Slade Gravett hold on to the lead? The 95 slide jobs the 21. Slade Gravett's going to arc that corner, try to get a huge run on that 95. Here comes a big run. Can Slade Gravett take that lead back? I don't know if he's got that run going into turn number 1. Looks as though the 21 will settle. Move JWoww to the lead at New Hampshire.
And there's JWoww doing exactly what he wants to do. When I spoke to him today, he wants to get now coming into this race, Joey. Check this out. JWoww and Slade both tied for 3rd in points coming into this race today with 297 points. Both of them have a win under their belts this season. So here you got the two guys battling for points, battling for the lead here. So you know both of these guys, and it's in the back of their minds, Slade and JWoww, that points are playing in a position like this. When I talked to JWoww this afternoon, he's focused on the long run. I talked to him and I said, what is your focus here? Is it, you know, look, falling back into 3rd in a tie with Slade at 3rd in points? What is your focus on that? And he said, my focus has got to be stage points. I got to get every point that I can get. I might not be able to catch Clashing by the end of the season, but I can definitely get back into number 2, and I can pull away if I run my race.
And he's certainly running his race right now. JWoww leading Slade Gravett by about half a second, starting to pull away from that 21 machine. So it looks like the 95 might have been saving his stuff a little bit. Could be a little bit better of a longer run car, but we looked at it a little bit earlier on back as you see Mike Bross and DB fighting for the 4th position. DB on the move. Look a little further on back to this 4-car battle. I've been noticing it for quite some time. Clashing finally gets through. We got Perky, DK Brown, Kill It Like Jason, and Cyberon going 3, maybe 4 wide at some corners. Great battle back here. Obviously, these guys wish they were a little bit further on ahead, but this is the kind of racing you love to see here on NASCAR Heat 5.
And that's what the type of racing that we're going to see here at New Hampshire all race long. You know, we're starting to get towards the end here in stage 1. There's 36 laps here in stage 1. So let me look and let me see if I get a lap count here, as we've got 10 laps to go on this time. So the next time they cross the straight, we're going to have 9 laps to go. So we're coming to the end here of stage 1. So these guys are going to be able to pit here, make some adjustments at the end of the stage.
So out of turn number 4, these leaders should be hitting 9 laps to go, if I am not mistaken. Hopefully Shady can vouch for me here if it is 9 laps to go at the line here. So 9 to go in stage number 1. A very fast-paced race. The lap times sit at around the 29 to 31 second time frame. Riding on board with the 88 of that man Perky. Someone we don't really get to talk about too much. He's having a pretty solid run right now. Sitting here in about, looks as though, I would say probably around the 8th position right now for Perky. So not a bad run whatsoever. He is sending it to the bottom and everything and really arcing that corner. I gotta say though, watching these guys race, Shady, it makes me want to get back into the driver's seat. You know, seeing these guys, looking at the lanes they're running, and I'm telling myself, man, I know I can run that corner just a little bit better. Or man, I want to get out there and battle these guys a little bit. So I'm missing it, man, just from being in the booth right now. I might have to make a solo start for the season at some point.
I'm looking forward to that, man. You know, I'll stay up here in the booth. I'm not getting on the track with these guys. That is all you, brother. And I will be pulling for you and reaching you on. But yes, New Hampshire is actually one of my most favorite tracks, and I love this track. It's really racy. It's really fun. And I mean, I wish I was out there just to run and just to get us some laps in with these guys. But I would love to see you out there, Joe. I've been watching you on your Sloppy Joe Twitch channel now, man. I know you. I want to see you in one of these races, brother.
Yeah, it would be a good time. I mean, it's been a little while since I've raced on the competitive field of NASCAR heat with these guys, and lots of great memories, lots of great runs, and a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas in the series. But always great to be in the booth. Maybe one day we'll get back into the driver's side. Maybe everyone watching back at home on YouTube, maybe if they want to see me race, get some support in the live chat, maybe I'll make a decision on that. But right now, I'll tell you what, best decision JWoww's made is building this 95 car to where it is right now. He is on fire right now. Now leading from about 1 to 1.2 seconds over Slade Gravett. We'll get an official lap count one more time. I believe it is now 5 or 4 laps to go in stage number 1.
It'll be 4 laps to go next time they cross the stripe. 4 laps to go when he crosses the stripe.
Out of turn number 4. JWoww looking once again for a stage win. He mentioned to Shady in the pre-race that he wants to win stages. Get as many points as possible. 4 to go for the 95 machine in stage number 1. If you're that 95 car, you got to be very, very happy about the speed you're showing right now. He won 2 weeks prior. He won 2 races before. Had a rough outing last week at Michigan. I believe it was Michigan. I'm pretty sure. Yep. Sometimes I lose track of things. Yeah, there we go. See, I know what I'm doing. and here he is now with some winning speed again very early into the race. Maybe an adjustment or two. We might see Slade get back up there. But this is a really impressive run for JWoww. I know earlier in the season, he didn't really have that winning speed. He was sitting around 4th to 5th, maybe 6th. But all of a sudden, these last few weeks, he has started clicking them off one by one. So this is really good to see for all the JWoww fans.
Absolutely, especially when he got that win just a couple weeks ago in Atlanta. He said that was the most exciting win that he has ever had in his entire professional racing online career. And look at him now. This is really impressive. Look at the interval that he's put in between him and second place Slade. That is impressive in itself, man. Look at that.
Absolutely. Definitely has the long run car. I believe we are now on 2 laps to go, if I'm not mistaken. Correct, Shady?
Yep, we got 2 laps. He's got a 1.6 lead over Slade. Flash 9 in 3rd, Mike RPM 4th, and DB in 5th. That is your top 5 as we are coming to the end of stage 1, Joey.
White flag is out for stage number 1. A great battle all the way around for JWoww and Slade, but JWoww seems to have taken advantage of the long run speed out of turn number 2 with nothing in his way to what looks to be an easy stage win here and an extra point in the regular season standings. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. He arcs that corner and out of turn number 4. We're going to go ahead and give that stage win to JWoww across the stripe.
Yeah, he gets that stage 1. That's what he's wanted. He wants those stage 1. He wants those stage points. He wants every point that he can get. And I can tell you, man, just by knowing these guys for a long time, you know, seeing them race in different leagues and stuff like that, he was very unhappy with the performance last week. It was out of his hands. He just got caught up in some stuff there at Michigan, but lost that second place, and he was very unhappy about it. So I really expected to see Jay Well come out and put forth an effort and put forth a performance, and he is putting that on so far here tonight at stage 1.
Certainly so. Your stage 1 top 5 will be Jay Wow in first, Slade in second, Flash 9 in third, Mike Bross in fourth, and rounding out your top 5 is going to be DB in the 5th position. A little on further back, you got Clashin in 6th, Perky in 7th, Chase Williamson in 8th, Cybron in 9th, and rounding out your top 10 looks to be DK Brown in the 10th spot. That is your top 10 for stage number 1 as the drivers are getting their final adjustments in here before the beginning of stage number 2. After the pit cycle, Slade Gravett beats the 95 off of pit road. So coming to the beginning of stage 2, this is what Slade would love to see. Green flag is now officially back out. Stage 2 is underway. A good start for Slade Gravett as they head out turn number 2. Single file for him, but it is a battle back there for every position as you look a little bit further back. Flash 9 to the inside of JWoww. Now DB looking for it. Mike Bross on the outside. They're 2-3 wide back there from 6 on back.
And that is not the place where JWoww wanted to be, was stuck on that high side. But look who was able to capitalize. Flash 9 right there in the 5 car as he's pulling up to the 21. Now we're in stage 2 now, Joey, so check this out. We've got 52 laps in stage 2. If I did my math right and my homework is right on this, they get 42 laps to a tank. So 42 laps to a tank, they'll be 10 laps shy. Now, if you really want to, you could probably save 10 laps, but you're going to lose a lot of time doing it. So we're going to have to see some strategy going on. Now, I kind of talked to Flash 9 there, as you see in second place, as he comes up on Slade on his back bumper. I was talking to Flash. I said, Flash, do you strategize before the race, or you just go into the race and just let the race dictate your strategy? And he said, no, I kind of go in with a plan, but kind of like a football game, you have to learn to adjust. Sometimes I'll see something in the track, and I'll adjust my plan, and I'll adjust my strategy, and I kind of go with the flow. But he does have a plan coming in here. As you see now, he starts to get that run there on Slade there, and look at that, Joey.
We noticed before how Slade Gravett in the 21 really loves to arc that corner, but could that be a disadvantage for him on the long run? He's using a lot of that tire. Now starts to go where that PJ1 is, but Flash 9 looking to arc that corner as well. A little on further back, the JCR teammates are battling for 3rd and 4th with Mike Bross at the helm as well. Flash 9, someone who's been a little bit on a hot streak lately. He's been very consistent, now got his first win. He's got that Aiken monkey off his back. And now he's on the inside of Slade Gravett here as they head into turn number 3, side by side for the lead. Flash 9 is going to send it in, get to the middle, and pressure Slade to not get that arc off the corner. That is an amazing move by the 5. It's going to work. Flash 9 takes the lead after an A+ brain move.
There's Flash 9. He's trying to capitalize it. Here comes Slade trying to look on the crossover. Is he going to have the room?
Can Slade Gravett get back on the gas to the inside of Flash? He cannot. Flash 9 clear and sailing with the lead here at New Hampshire. Now, Shady, what we noticed that Flash 9 did for everyone watching back at home, that was a brilliant move by the 5. He didn't push Slade up the track, but what he did was he sent it just as hard as Slade did, went up to the middle and kept the line. He pressured the 21 to lay off the gas to where he did not make contact with the wall. Therefore, the 21 had to back off that throttle, and the 5 presumed to take the lead. That's a brilliant move. Some may say it's a little dirty, but to me, I think just that's a strategic, smart racing move. And look what it did. Flash 9 now leading here in stage number 2.
I wouldn't see how anybody could call that dirty. I would call that exciting and absolutely awesome racing. I wouldn't see that dirty. When I was talking to Flash 9, I was actually talking, he actually said that, you know, he is not going to push the issue. He is going to wait for somebody to either make a mistake or he's going to wait for the door to open and get on through it. And that's what we just saw. He didn't push the issue. He waited for his opportunity. And when the opportunity came, he went. Just like he said this afternoon when I was talking to him. He didn't push the issue. He lets the race come to him. And as you see now, I mean, he's been putting together some really, really good runs. He's got that win under his belt. He's feeling really, really good, running really well. He's letting the race come to him. And look who we got there is pulling up his second. Look, we got a battle for second. There's that 95 again. We're going to have a battle here for second.
Battle for second, JWoww putting the pressure on Slade Granite, who fell off a little bit there at the start of the stage, but we noticed how JWoww pulled away there in stage number 1. He's showing that same pace right here as he's going to put some pressure on that 21. In 4th place, we got Clashin, who made contact with the wall earlier. He looked like he had a really fast car too before that damage, so I'm curious to see how that 51's going to drive here as the stage continues. Does he have the same pace as his teammate? If not, is he better than the 95 car? Now we're going to see some of those answers start to come to fruition here. But look a little further back. We got DK Brown in 6th now. He's made some progress up to the front. Mike Bross and Chase Williamson. A little surprising here, Shady. Those two are back there in 7th and 8th. A little surprising to see those two back there.
I'm really surprised to see that, especially between the 14 and the 44 Mike Bross. It's really uncharacteristic kind of both of them. But like you kind of said earlier, Joey, I mean, this is a different type of track. This is not your cookie cutter type of, tri-oval that we've seen a lot this season with your Atlantas and your Michigans and on auto clubs, things like that. This is like you said, man, it's a flat track. It's a shorter track, so it's really finesse that you got to use around this track. But, we saw all season, Chase Williamson and Mike Bross both had a lot of speed in the beginning of the race, and things, for whatever reason, just didn't pull out their way. Mike is still looking for his first win. He only has 2 top 5s this whole season, so he's right now tied in 6th in points with DB at 249, so he's not where he wants to be, especially this far back here in stage 2 and trying to get as many points as he can as we come to the home stretch of this season. So it's really surprising almost to say with Chase Williamson and Mike Bross kind of there in the mid-pack where we're used to seeing them in the front of the pack.
Yeah, Mike Bross is definitely somebody that we're not used to seeing running 7th or 8th, but one thing we can assure, his 2 top 5s this season aren't from just, not having speed. That 44 has had speed all season long. Unfortunately, some of these races have come down to some fuel strategy and just different things panning out. I remember quite fondly, I believe it was at Atlanta, he arguably had the best car in the entire field. Unfortunately, though, Atlanta just did not work out for him. He had a penalty on pit road, and he had to fight his way back. Somehow managed to still get a 5th or 6th place finish in that race. But now he's sitting here putting pressure on DK. But if you're a Mike Bross fan back at home, I personally don't think there is not too much to worry about. Mike Bross is very consistent. He'll get the job done when he needs to get it done. Right now, he might just be kind of hanging out, but if I remember Shady quite fondly, when Mike Bross and I ran here in the Pro League at New Hampshire in Season 2, he and I struggled all week long getting our cars dialed in. We actually made quite a call at the end of the race. We actually took 2 tires rather than 4, and because of that, we lost track position at the beginning, but for some reason, the tires just, they all of a sudden just came to life, and we just went from like 9th and 10th all the way to like 4th and 5th at the end of the race. So it was pretty hilarious to see that, and hopefully Mike's hoping for that strategy call to happen again, because I know he wants to run a little bit better than this. As he actually puts the bumper to DK, they shoot up the track. Now Mike Bross is going to go to the inside of DK here for position.
And he's got Chase Williamson there right on his tail to give him a little bit of push. Not able to make the pass. But like you said, Mike Bross, man, he is very, very smart racer, very smart driver. As we see Chase Williamson coming off a 2 get loose.
Loose indeed, and a great save by the youngster there in the 14 machine. Definitely someone who knows how to save a car. Now using that inside lane where that PJ1 is there. Maybe he's trying to look something different, and the 14 is coming down pit road.
He's coming down pit road and making an early pit, and we see a couple guys now coming down pit road. There's another one coming down pit road right behind him.
Brennan Nader.
Let me see who that is. That's Brennan. Yeah, Brennan in a 16 coming down with him. So here we see some short pits, so we're seeing strategy already.
And let's see how quick these pit stops are. Do they take 4 tires? Do they take 2? Let's see how long this pit stop is for the 16 of Brennan, who's had a very quiet season so far, looking to break through, maybe get that first win of the season. If not, maybe a top 5. I don't think he's gotten a top 5 this year. But we'll see what happens here as he's sitting on pit road. Looks to be about 4 tires, 2 cans of Sunoco fuel as he heads out of pit road, along with Chase Williamson there. Let's see how they cycle out back onto the track. They are definitely going to be a lap down here. This is a very small track as the 3 is struggling back there into the wall almost there in 1 and 2. 3 is definitely not having a good day. Still your leader at the moment is the, I believe it is the 5 of Flash 9, but as you can see, the 95 is starting to put pressure on the 5, and a little bit further back, it's clashing in the 51.
Yep, there's those JCR boys running second and third with Flash running first, like you said. And those guys right now, you know, they've been there all season, and all 3 of them, they're looking at that points race. They're exactly where they want to be. But the person that also is kind of falling off here a little bit, falling back to 4th, is Slade, as DK and Mike are right on his bumper, putting pressure on him. And the 7 car right there of DK putting major pressure on Slade for 4th position, with Mike RPM right there in the 44 right in tow. He's got something to say about that. But that 7 car, DK, really putting that pressure on Slade. And Slade, that car just kind of goes away.
Oh, trouble in the back! Trouble in the back! We have a crash. It's DB in the 95 car. He is around out of turn number 4. He makes contact with the 16 of Granite. No, sorry, not the 16. Looked as though I will get verification who that 2nd car was. I'm surprised that wasn't a caution, though. That was a 2-car collision out of turn number 4. You saw that on your screens. And no caution.
No caution, and he's going to lose a lot of time, and that's going to hurt him big time. Like I said, DB, he came in tied with Mike in 6th in points, so that is definitely going to be a big hit, especially here in stage 2, and every point matters, as Mike Bross, he's starting to make his way kind of towards the front there. He's running in 6th position, so that is definitely going to hurt DB. He'll get it together. He'll settle down, regroup, and I think he'll be back, but he's got plenty of time.
Here comes the 7 of DK Brown down pit road for a scheduled green flag pit stop. He pulls off that number 7 car. DK Brown, someone who obviously has some pro league experience. He's been very quiet this season, but I think it's something he does not complain about whatsoever. I'm like that too. You want to be very quiet. You just kind of want to let your driving do the talking, kind of get some good runs here and start pouncing at the end. I'm sure DK is going to get faster as the season goes on, but tough break from the 95 as you see him coming down off of pit road. 18 of Intown as well in the pit road as well. Now, we talked about Slade before. We mentioned how he was a little bit slower. Aquatati misses pit road. Wow, that was almost a great view for all the viewers back at home. The 8 car nearly hits the pit road wall. He had to just swerve that thing to the right. Great avoidance by the 8. Definitely going to lose some time right there, but want to mention Slade Graven, okay? Here's a great thing, Shady. I'm going to ask you this. We all know Slade Graven won here at New Hampshire in Season 2. How did he win that race? Fuel mileage. I'm curious to know if Slade Graven is running a fuel-saving yet race-pace efficient gear that's allowing him to save those 10 laps. Because we saw Slade earlier on in stage number 1. He was able to stay up there, fight for that lead until the last 10, 15 laps, and started backing off his pace. So I'm wondering now if the 21 is saving that fuel. He's already a good, like, 4 seconds behind the top 3. Doesn't seem to be gaining any time as well. And I've known Slade for quite a few years now, and it's not just off a lack of speed. I think this is a strategy move by the 21, so we're going to have to keep an eye on this as the stage gets closer and closer to the end.
You could be right about that, Joey, because there was, like you said, there's 52 laps in stage 2. Right now, they are completing 27 of 52. So, you know, they get 42 laps for a full tank. So saving 10 laps is definitely possible. But remember, Joey, on a track like New Hampshire, if you've got fresh tires, you're going to be about 0.6 faster per lap on fresh tires compared to somebody who's saving fuel. So you would definitely lose a lot of time. So there's a lot of give and take there. But if you're going to save fuel, I would guess this would definitely be the kind of stage to kind of try to do it to see if it's going to work for you. We're really going to have to see if that works.
I'll tell you what's not working for me. These drivers are giving me a heart attack up in the booth. I thought JY was going to hit the pit road wall. He barely makes it into pit road without causing any damage to the car. So let's see what this 95 does. How long is his pit stop going to be? Let's see what happens as he is in pit road. JWoww, arguably maybe the fastest car here at New Hampshire, at least in stage number 1. There goes Flash 9 passing the 95, putting the 95 a lap down. Slade Graven still on the track along with Chase Williamson there in the 3rd position. Clashing.
JWoww's taking all 4 and 2 cans.
4 tires and 2 cans of fuel. He is splitting the stage nearly in half, and right there he just gets in front of his teammate Clashing, and we're gonna have to keep an eye on that because that could be very well for the stage win. And Clashing just sitting there, holding his pace, staying with that 95 because that could very well be a stage win in a matter of time.
It very well could be, as we're starting to get in the last half.
Oh, we got a car around the back. We got a car around the back. It is that man, Perky. Perky around in the backstretch. Oh, I'm sorry, not Perky. There was someone. Yes, it is the 6 of Davey Allison with heavy damage on the front of his car. The hood is absolutely crinkled.
Oh, man. And I saw Davey Allison. He looked like he was having trouble. He was up against the wall, and he's there down on the apron. And I think that's heartbreak for him. He really wanted to try to get a good race in tonight. Absolutely heartbreak, and I think he might take it to the back of the garage. He's not moving.
The 6 is not moving. Looks as though that Oscar Mayer Ford has way too much damage. Now he looks like he's trying to get that car started, get it back rolling, but more so the fact the 6 probably done for today. A tough break for the newcomer here in VRL.
Yeah, definitely tough break, man. It's got the name that we all know and love, and really pulling for him. He's a good friend of mine. I know Davey Allison. I talk to him on a regular basis. He has not had the speed that he's wanted as he joined the league, but he just wants to earn respect and learn and get better. And to see something like this, you'd never want to see this with anybody. It's absolute heartbreak for somebody who just wants to come out, race, have a good time, and get better racing with the best of the best.
As we were away there looking at the 6 car, trying to keep an eye here on Slade Graven. Curious to know if he pitted or not. I believe he did. I want to say he did because now all of a sudden he's behind Mike Bross and DK Brown. But I'm curious to know if the 21 did pit or not. We'll get verification on that of who the leader is at the moment. I believe right now the leader is Chase Williamson in the 14 machine.
Right now, actually, I see that Kill It Like Jason in a 43 is being scored the leader right now. According looking at JWoww's stream, on the YouTube stream, it looks like the 43 is actually the leader. Kill It Like Jason being scored the leader.
And also to come in, no surprise that the 43 is leading. Kill It Like Jason, someone who's very well known for his fuel-saving strategy. So right now, the 43 leading. You can hear that off throttle time. He is definitely trying to make it right here on no stops, as a matter of fact. So the 43 definitely trying to make it work. We'll keep an eye on him. He's sending it up to that wall. Now just getting back on the throttle. Let's see if there's anyone chasing behind him. Nope, do not see any pressure whatsoever behind him. So if you're Jason in this 43 car, you have all the room in the world now to just work with it. And the 6 car, once again, pulled off on the entrance of pit road in that 6 machine. So curious to know why he's there. Not sure if the engine just died out on him. So the 6 car definitely out of this race. Tough break for the 6 machine. Kill It Like Jason leading here, possibly trying to make it on no stops here in stage number 2. If this race comes down to fuel strategy, we're gonna have to circle back and keep it on this 43 car because he is definitely trying to make it work.
He's definitely going for it. He is definitely going for it, and it's really going to be interesting to see. And that's where these strategies really come into play. They're really, really exciting, and that's one of the things that Flash really enjoyed so far this season is all the strategies that really come into play. And the fuel strategies, he said, is really, really exciting to him. So we're going to see if it sometimes. Hey, you know, it's 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. But we're going to find out if it works for that 43 and Kill It Like Jason. But you definitely got to give it to him for rolling some dice there, man.
Oh, you always need to applaud strategy whenever you can, because seeing strategy like this, I can never imagine myself doing this. I think the very few times I ever tried saving fuel in a Pro League race, 95% of the time, it ended up with me pitting and being emotionally heartbroken to not go for the win. So I always tip my hat to those people like Jason who go for those strategies. Currently, he's just doing whatever he can, staying in front right here. And it looks as though the 14, the 51, they're all chasing down this 43, but they're a lap down. They are a lap down. So right now, Jason has all the room he needs right here to stretch this fuel. We'll get verification to make sure those guys behind are indeed a lap down. But right now, if Kill Like Jason was not leading, Chase Williamson will be leading with Clashing in second. Then you got the 95 in third and Flash in fourth. But it's a whole different story with that 43 up front.
Absolutely, he's up there by himself. As this field is now really coming up fast on him, he's definitely in that fuel-saving gear. But these guys are coming hot and heavy. As we see Clashing and Chase, they do battle. Clashing, he's got something to say. Oh, and the 95 gets up into the wall a little bit.
Contact from the 5 sends the 95 up the track. Not sure if that was an accident, but holy moly, the 95. Yep, 43 lets them go. We'll see here. And guys, I believe the 43 was on the lead lap. So the 43 has just lost the lead. It looks as though the fuel strategy may not be the way to go.
It's definitely rolling dice. It'll work for you, but sometimes it'll haunt you. And there was actually, looking at it on the instant replay on that incident with JWoww and Flash, there was no contact. You know what it was, Joey? It's something that we talked about earlier. It's that daggone seam right there between lane 1 and 2. Those left tires appeared that it hooked that seam and sent them right up the track. So no contact was made that I saw in the replay. It was just a racing situation. But definitely a tough break for JWoww as he's driving hard. But as we see Flash now going under Chase Williamson.
Flash takes over the second spot from Chase Williamson. Clashing leading with JWoww in fourth, and in fifth place back there is Killer Like Jason. But Mike Bros, we talked about him, very steady, very patient driver, looking to get a top 5 here in stage number 2 as the laps are winding down. And it looks as though at the moment we'll get an official lap count here as they head out of turn number 4. Looks as though we are heading now to 9 laps to go. 9 laps to go in stage number 2. And it is 9 laps to go. Yes, 9 laps to go here in stage number 2. Flash 9 putting lots of pressure on that 51. But why is Flash catching the 51? The 51 pitted before the 5. So the 5 has a little bit fresher tires, but can Clashing hold the outside and play defense against the 5?
And there goes the 5 of Flash 9 looking to get a run. Is that 51? Is he going to give him a battle? Here we go. Flash 9 diving to the inside in turn 1 under Clashing. And Clashing, is he going to get that momentum coming off of turn 2? As the Flash on that bottom side, he gets a run on himself. He's going to get it. I think he's going to get it.
Flash sends it in here. He should clear him. The 51's going to send it too. Nearly made contact there. 51 backs off, trying to attempt a slide job, but Flash pulls an incredible block out of 4 as they make contact. Looks as though maybe Flash might have hit the wall a little bit. It sent the 51 flying to the inside. They both save it, but which allows Chase and JWoww to put some time on them.
Absolutely, as Clashing now is right up on the bumper as these laps are starting to wind down. As you see, every single point matters here. These points are going to matter.
Points matter indeed, and if I'm not mistaken, it's the top 5 that gets stage points, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, and as like we said, Flash came into this race second in points with JWoww in third, as JWoww won stage 1, but here Flash, if he can take stage 2, and almost even those points out, so it's really getting close call. But there's Clashing, our points leader, Mr. Consistency himself, and there's Bro Chase, and Chase Williamson, he's right there. He might have something to say before this is all said and done, but Flash and Clashing look like they're starting to maybe get a little separation now from Chase and JWoww.
5 to go in stage number 2. Flash 9 starting to pull away from the 51 car. Go a little further on back here and see a very important battle here. We talked about those stage points. Let's take a look at this battle back here for the 5th place position. It's Mike Bross versus Slade Gravett. This is for a stage point. We talked about Mike Bross needing every point he possibly can to make sure he makes it into the playoffs for what's been a very quiet season for that 44 car. So this is a battle we're going to have to keep an eye on here because every point matters as the races are dialing down. And look at that 21, setting it into that corner, trying to get a good run on the 44.
And that was good news for Mike Bross, bad news for Slade, as Slade came in tied with JWoww, 3rd in points, where Mike, he came into the points in 6th. So that is exactly where he wants to be, to try to make up some ground. That's music to JWoww's ears, putting Slade another position back. But here comes Slade looking back on the inside of Mike. It's not over yet.
Still side by side, Slade Gravett looking for that elusive 5th place and a stage point. Mike Bross probably telling Slade, come on, buddy, let me have this point. I need it so bad. But that's what happens when you pit late, get those extra little green tires and everything. Going back to the front here. That's Flash 9 pulling away from the field, as it now should be 2 laps to go here in the stage as they are coming to the white flag here for stage number 2. Kind of like we saw with JWoww. The 5 pulling away from the field late into the stage. He was one of the last cars to pit. The tires definitely are paying off. Chase Williamson now up to 2nd place. White flag is out here for stage number 2. And Flash 9 looking to continue that momentum from his first win of the season last week. Possibly going for back-to-back as he heads down the back straightaway here for the final time in stage number 2. And the ChevyGoods.com machine through 3 and 4. Out of his way in 4 to the finish line. Flash 9 is going to win stage number 2.
And look at that, as for P2, Chase Williamson was able to get in front of Clashin for P2. Clashin in 3rd, JWoww 4th. Mike RPM gets 5th, and Slade in 6th.
Mike RPM gets that elusive stage point that we talked about before. Every point matters, especially with races dialing down. So we have JWoww at stage 1, Flash 9 stage 2. We've had a different winner for each stage, Shady. Does that mean possibly that the stage 1 and stage 2 winner may not win this race if the trends continue the way they are?
If the trend continues, I mean, we've seen so many different guys win stages throughout this entire series, this entire season. So now we're going to go into stage 3, where there's going to be 55 laps to determine this race at the Magic Mile. So there might be some magic for some. Maybe some have already used up that magic, but we're about to find out with these last 55 laps here in stage 3.
Stage 3 right around the corner. It is now time to go. Here they come to the start-finish line here for the beginning of the final stage. Flash 9 leads the field to green, and we are back underway here at New Hampshire for the final stage. Oh, we got trouble. The 18 slams into the wall. Looked to be about a 2-car accident in the back. It's Aquatati and the 18 car. And I am not sure why that is not a caution. I would imagine that would be a caution. That was a 2-car crash there in turn 1. Maybe because it's a little too early into the restarter, I assume. I think there is a rule in regards to that. But tough break for Aquatati and Initown in the 18 machine. Battling hard here for 2nd place. Clashin clears the 14 with a little contact on that left front. Flash 9 with clean air leads the field.
As we saw a shakeup at the beginning of stage 3, where Chase Williamson finished stage 2 in 2nd place, but restarted in 4th. So it was definitely a shakeup at the beginning of this race. As you see those JCR boys running 2nd and 3rd, Flash 9 in front. They're all exactly where they want to be. So I'm wondering to see maybe if they're going to ride a little bit, or if they're going to kind of go, maybe stretch things out. It's very interesting that, we haven't had a caution. I was expecting a caution, at least one, and it was surprising that the caution didn't come out. Maybe it was like you said, maybe only, I think, one car actually did get turned around. But going caution free, I mean, these guys, and when I talked to these guys earlier today, most of them all anticipated another caution free race. Flash 9, he said, well, if we get one caution, I'll be surprised. We might get one, but I'm anticipating this thing go caution free. As Mike Ross, he gets under that 95 now for P4.
Mike Ross telling himself now it is go time, passing one of the fastest cars here throughout the race, possibly for P number 4, and he's going to do so and clears the 95, move the 44 up one extra 4 to P number 4.
And as we were talking about Mike Ross, he's now up to P4, and that car has been getting better and better and better as this race has gone on. So he's moved his way up to 4th. Let's see if he can climb his way up to 3rd and pass Chase Williamson.
Yeah, we talked about how Mike Ross is a very steady, very patient driver as the race goes on. He kind of lets the race come to him, which is something that you see in a lot of drivers who have lots of experience like Mike Ross, Slade Gravett, Chase Williamson in races like this. And as you can see right there, started to take a little bit of a different approach. He's trying to get a little bit better launch off the corner. He's starting to put a little bit of pressure here on the 14 and the 51 here for 2nd and 3rd.
Flash 9, as he's starting to pull away a little bit, as we're going to have a battle here for 2nd between Clash and Chase Williamson, as Mike Ross, he's now moving up. He's got something to say about this mess. It's starting to get exciting here as we see Slade now moving up on the back of JWoww. That's ready for 5th. These guys are starting to get tightened up here, so they're starting to get go time here in stage 3.
Riding on board with the 44 here. Let's see if he can get up to the bumper of the 14 and 51 and maybe take another position or so. Chase Williamson using that yellow lane right there in turn 2. It's pretty safe to use it, but you don't want to use it in turn 4, especially with that pit entry zone being so wide. We've already seen a few guys mess that up during the long runs and whatnot. Mike Ross doesn't really have any pressure on him behind as JWoww starting to kind of fall back a little bit. Little shocked, but not crazy shot. I imagine the 95 might be saving his stuff, possibly. But who knows? Who knows? It's the Magic Mile. We never know at this place, man. The different strategies that get thrown out. Cars get better. Cars get worse. It's just one of those tracks where, as the race goes on, you just kind of see what happens as time goes on. You can't really predict what's going to happen here.
Especially with these guys, man. We've seen it all season long. I mean, I've kind of... I've said you got to predict the unpredictable here with these guys, because these guys, as we see now, Chase Williamson, he's trying to battle Clash there for 2nd. He just can't get that nose underneath, where Mike Ross, he now pulls right up on Chase Williamson. He's going to have something to say before this is all said and done. I can promise you that, as these guys really start getting a nose to tail. But look at Flash 9, as he's starting to put some space now between he and Clash for that 1st and 2nd spot. So Flash 9 starting to get a little bit on cruise control, as now we see that battle for 2nd as Chase tries to get that nose under that 51 and just can't.
The 51 definitely taking a wide arc approach to play a little defense here. He thinks his car is going to get better as the long run goes on, but Chase Williamson putting pressure on the 51 machine. And let's take a little bit closer look here at the 14, riding on board with Chase Williamson. One of the fastest drivers all season long. Puts the bumper to the 51 out of turn 2. Now side by side as they head at 2. Down the back straightaway. Is this where Chase Williamson can take over the spot? Possibly. He's going to send it in. Still side by side. 51 going to try a little bit of a crossover. And the 14 takes 2nd. Great move by the 14.
And Flash 9, when I was talking to Flash 9, like I said at the beginning of the race, Flash 9 said the one to beat today is that 14 and Chase Williamson. And there he is right there in 2nd place. Looks like he's made some adjustments on that car, and he's got that thing kicked in, and he's riding there right in 2nd, exactly where he wants to be. But like that 51, clashing, he's going to be right there. He's going to be up there with Mike Cross and JWoww and Slade. They're all right there ready to strike. I wonder if they're just kind of laying back a little bit, let these leaders kind of battle out, duke it out. Like we were saying, man, we could sit up here all day long and guess what these guys are doing, and I guarantee you we'll be half right half of the time.
Absolutely. When you got guys like this racing so close, bumper to bumper at a track like this, you're amazed when you think these guys are not hitting each other. There's not a lot of cautions. These guys have been practicing all week long, making sure they got the right approach, the right line to save the tire, to get the launch off the corner. Just look how identical these guys are. Clash and Mike, JWoww, and Slade are all running neck and neck, the same lap times. No one's really making a big difference or so. Mike Bross gets loose, though, out of 2. And that gives JWoww the top. Is Mike going to fight it? Looks as though he will not. He will give JWoww the spot. So Mike Bross a little loose there off of 2, hitting that seam. He'll lose a spot, moving back to the 5th position. And maybe another one too. Slade on the inside of the 44.
And we got an unscheduled pit stop here, Joey. We got the 95 of DB. 95 of DB with some heavy damage coming down pit road. Not exactly sure what exactly happened, but a lot of damage done to that 95 as he's down pit road. That is not a good sign.
It is just not the 95's day, in particular to DB. Had a great qualifying effort. Looked as though he had a top 5, top 6 car most of the race, but got a little further on back in traffic, and that's what we call the danger zone right there, in quote, Kenny Loggins right there. But DB, lots of damage on the front of that car. He's going to need a caution if he wants to have a chance to get back into this race.
Yeah, he's going to need some help. You know, he's only had one top 5 this whole season. He came into this race tied with Mike Bross for 6th in points. He's definitely got to try to go into some kind of damage control now with the bad luck that he's kind of had. And like you said, maybe he can get some good luck. Maybe he can get some help in the form of a caution. But as we've seen, this is what, 3-4 races now where we have not seen a caution come out, something like that. So, I mean, you can't really put any weight onto that. So it's real shame to see that happen with D, because he definitely was looking forward and really trying to capitalize and trying to get his second top 5 of the season. But unless something really drastic happens, he's got a lot of work to do and a big hill to climb.
If I'm being 100% honest, I think we need to have a manual caution in every single stage at this point, because I want to see some cautions. I want to see some different strategies. I want to see some intensity when it comes to these races a little bit more. The racing has been fantastic, but if you ask me, I'm always for a little bit of, just a little touch of chaos. A little bit of chaos and a little bit of race drama is what I am here for, and I want that for everyone here watching the stream. It's been a fantastic race so far, seeing multi-groove racing here, arcing the corners, riding the bottom, fuel saving. It's all there. I just want a little bit more chaos in this race. But someone who's got some chaos on their back bumper, it's clashing. JWoww closing in on that 51's bumper slowly but surely for P number 3. And if we just look a little bit further ahead, we talked about him. He's been a little quiet for most of the race, but maybe he was doing that on purpose. It's the 14 of Chase Williamson slowly catching that 5 car. Cue the Jaws music.
Absolutely. And like we saw in stage 1, as Clashing, the teammate just let his teammate JWoww go
Must
by.
be pitting. Must be pitting. No, wow, he just let him go.
He just let him go by. He knows that JWoww has the faster car on the long run. He's not going to hold him up. He's first in points. His teammate is battling for second in points. That's clashing. That's who he is. I mean, I guarantee he probably would have done it if it wasn't his teammate. Just because he's not going to hold a guy up. That's the kind of guy Clashing is. But look at JWoww. He is putting the hammer down. He wants to get that second win of the season, baby. He's going, but he's going to catch those 2 leaders, Flash 9 and Chase Williamson. You said that Jaws music. I put that fin, that dorsal fin on the top of that 95 right now.
95 is definitely flying. Chase Williamson second, Clashing 4th. Slade takes over the 5th spot from Mike Bross, and a little bit further on behind is Perky, who is starting to show a little bit of life here in that 88 car. We talked about him, wants to have a little bit better of a run, and he's doing a good job right now.
Yeah, we haven't talked about him much. He's right there running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's running right there in 7th. We haven't talked about him much all day today, and he's a solid racer, man. I've watched him. He knows how to get some wins. And look at him. He's having a good, solid race. You know, he hasn't had the season that he's wanted. Right now, he sits outside of the cut line for the playoffs. So you know it. He is really, really gunning for it, trying to have a good finish, trying to get a good points day here so he can try to close in and try to maybe snatch a playoff spot, because after this race, Joey, we're going to only have 4 races left in the regular season. So it's kind of crunch time in the season, and we're on that home stretch. So it's time to go. And that man Perker, he wants to get a playoff spot. He's definitely going to have to earn it, and he's going to get it. And he's going to have to put that pedal down.
Absolutely. Anyone who's below the cut line, they got to start making some moves, maybe make some different strategy calls or so, just to maybe get ahead of the game, try something different. If you're already back in that 9th, 10th spot, why not try something different? Why not go for something to kind of put yourself in a different strategy than the rest of the field? And Perky right now showing some good speed. He's putting pressure on Mike Bross, and I believe this would be for the 6th position. So Perky showing some speed here. He made a good adjustment, almost makes contact with that 44 car, as he keeps trying to arc that corner and get a better run. Definitely better than the 44 off the corner.
Absolutely. It looks like he's way better off the corner as he dives down in. Goes all the way down to the apron. Uses a little bit of apron. That definitely killed his momentum there in turn 1 and turn 2. It looks like he's really starting to get a little antsy there a little bit. Maybe a little impatient. He's starting to, kind of get it to him a little bit. He knows he might have a little faster car. Kind of, let it come to you, man. Let it come to you. You'll be all right. If you got a faster car, you'll get around them. Just be patient. Let that door open and get on through it.
We've been riding on board with the 88 here for a couple laps now. Just really fascinated by seeing the lines that these drivers are using here at New Hampshire. We don't really see this at any other track, right? We don't really get any tracks where you go from top to bottom or middle to top, then back to bottom. We don't really see that on the NASCAR circuit that much, unless you're at a track like Homestead or maybe even Auto Club. It's just one of those very few rarities that we get on the NASCAR schedule anymore. And that's why New Hampshire is just so unique. You're able to dive bomb that corner, lift off the gas, get back on it, get to that yellow line right there. But look at that. It's just cool because look at the 88. He's going to the yellow line. Mike Bross, he's not going to the yellow line. As 2 drivers are signaling to pit here. Looks like we got Clashin and Slade Graben signaling to come down pit road this time by, along with Mike Bross. That was almost too close to call. Wow, that was close.
Oh man, a little too close for comfort. And one thing that you mentioned that you didn't mention on all of that is that throws that wild card here at New Hampshire is that scene between lanes 1 and 2 where it's reached up and it's grabbed a couple of these guys tonight and got those guys loose and got those cars turned around a little sideways. All kinds of things. That's what I love about this Magic Mile. That magic can work for you, it can work against you. But I tell you what, we're having some dynamite racing. We're seeing a lot of passing, a lot of fighting. As we're back up here towards the leaders, as I've been watching Chase Williamson as putting the pressure on Flash 9 for the past 3 or 4 laps, looking for that lead. And what that's doing is that's allowing JWoww in 3rd to start reeling them in as we got that battle for the lead, Joey. Take a look at this, brother.
Chase Williamson takes the lead away from Flash 9 as they enter turn 1. He sends it in there to clear himself of the 5, and that's the 14 that we talked about. That's the oh, he gets loose off the corner, which allows Flash 9 to maybe get it back, but I guess he just didn't have that run right there.
And Flash 9 entered the corner really, really high, and here comes Chase down pit road.
Chase Williamson down pit road. That might have been the signal to come down pits when you're loose off the corner like that. But this is where the strategy is going to come into play here. If you're Flash 9, how long do you stay out here to get the fresher tires? The longer you stay out, the fresher tires you have, the better you're going to be at the end of this race. So what does Flash 9 do? Let's see how the 14 handles pit road here and see where he stacks out here. First pit box, definitely an advantage to have here at a track like New Hampshire.
Here they come both, he and JWoww, as they pit at the same time.
So JWoww and Flash 9 pitting this time, keeping an eye on the 14 to see when he comes out of pit road. There he is, the 14 now out of pit road. There's Clashin and Slade Graven. I don't believe they pitted yet. Now let's head to the 5. This is the battle we're going to be keeping an eye on here. How far ahead will Chase Williamson be?
This is going to be interesting because JWoww, and that's what we saw at Atlanta as they're going to side by side as we saw in Atlanta. What we saw in Atlanta with JWoww.
Oh my God!
Pits, and here they come. Look at them battling off of the pits into the backstretch, side by side. Wow, man, look at that. They're battling each other.
Woo, that was a close one right there. I've had a few close calls like that scared me a lot. But as you can see right there, 1 lap difference. Chase Williamson now puts about 2 to 2.5 seconds ahead of the 5 car. Now Chase Williamson, once it all cycles through, Chase Williamson should be your leader.
As everything cycles through, and you know, now it's really interesting to see, as we're gonna have now, we have 21 laps to go this time by, so they're picking them up and laying them down at a really fast clip here. So it's really starting to get interesting. The pit stops have been made. Now it's real go time. It's whatever you've got to go. And now it's really going to see as Clashin now starts to reel in that 14 at Chase Williamson. And he's going to have something to say before this is all said and done.
Currently right now, your leader is actually the 16 of Brennan. Brennan has not pitted yet in that 16 car. Someone we mentioned before who has not really had the season they've wanted, but keeps his head up high, knowing that his chance will come soon. So I got to show that graphic for Brennanator, who is currently leading this race. Could be on a fuel strategy here. Can he make it on 1 stop? I'm sorry, no stops. No stops. Sorry, no stops for the 16, I mean.
Well, you would have to save 13 laps of fuel to do that. Which is possible. I mean, it is definitely possible. But remember, Joey, we saw in stage 2 where Kill It Like Jason, he tried that fuel strategy and it ended up backfiring on him. But like we kind of say, you know, sometimes think outside the box, and you know, sometimes it's you know, kind of roll them a little bit and see if then you don't get that lucky 7, or you know. But sometimes if it comes snake eyes, then you're going to really be bit. But you know, it's really interesting to see that Brennan's not pitting yet. I don't know if he's using a full fuel strategy and how it's going to work out, because it's, I mean, when we saw it in stage 2, Kill It Like Jason only had to save 10 laps of fuel, and we saw it backfire on him. Here in stage 3,
here he comes. Here he comes. 16 down pit road.
Okay.
16 down pit road.
I thought so. Yeah.
16 down pit road. And as it all cycles through, it should be Chase Williamson with the lead. We'll get a verification here in just a moment to make sure we do not miss a lead change. And it will be the 14. The 14 has now taken the lead back. Chase Williamson up front.
I think the biggest winner out of that green flag pit strategy was Slade Graven. Look at Slade. He can gain a couple of positions. He's now riding right up there in 4th position, right there behind Flash.
And Clashin just gives away the 2nd spot to Flash 9. Those fresh tires are starting to pave off. That 1 lap difference could be the difference in this race. But if you're the rest of the field, I'd be a little bit worried about how big of a gap Chase Williamson has put on 2nd place. Looks to be about maybe a 1.2 to 1.4 second lead, but it is a battle back here. Look how many spots we're fighting for here. You got 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th place, and 7th, all under a blanket. I believe.
And there's an 18 of Middletown. They're going to go 3 wide in a turn 1 with this lap car of Middletown. Oh, man.
Woo. Crazy battles indeed.
Yeah, that definitely didn't work out for JWoww as he got shuffled back. And look at Mike Ross. He took advantage of that. He's moved on the outside of JWoww now. So that took him, that lap car definitely did not do JWoww favors, but it certainly did Mike a little favor.
Mike doing everything he can to fight on that top to take a spot away from the 95. He's going to keep putting pressure as the 95 is trying to send it into the corner to keep that spot. Every position matters big time. Mike Bross knows that. The 95 knows that. And the car behind them, I need to get some verification. I'm not sure if Brennanator is on the lead lap or if he is a lap down. But if he's on the lead lap here, he could very well be in position to maybe get a top 5 out of this race.
Very simple, 'cause especially with as late as he pitted. But I'm not sure. I think he may have had to go
He
a
is
lap
not.
down. If
He is not. Yeah,
tires.
just checked it right here. He is not. He is a lap down. Perky is the next position behind Mike Bross, which is another about a second and a half back. And the 44 loses the spot to JWoww. JWoww takes back that spot.
And JWoww right there in fifth position as he is trying to gain every position as he can. As these laps are starting to wind down, I think we've got this next time by. Let me see if I can get a lap count, Joey, because I know we're starting to get towards the end here. I believe we got 12 laps to go. So this time on a stripe, there's 11 to go now at the stripe.
12 to go. 95 gets very loose there as they fight for position. Got to keep an eye here on Flash 9. Definitely starting to slowly reel in that 14, but does he have time to do it? That's the most important question that we have to ask ourselves here. As the 14 makes quick work of the 8, who is a lap down, gives the spot or position to the 14. A courtesy move. Laps winding down here at New Hampshire. Chase Williamson has been told, well, we've been told that he has the best car here. It took quite some time to see it, but I'm starting to see why. But I'm telling you right now, guys, that 5 machine, I'm seeing that white bumper a little bit more every single lap.
As we go back here, as
9 to go now.
JWoww and Slade, they're still battling each other for that 4th spot. As Clash now just kind of cruising there in 3rd. But yeah, Flash 9, when I was talking to him, he said that Chase Williamson would be the guy to beat, and there he is in 1st spot with a nice little lead. But as you said, he is getting a little more closer each lap. But is there enough time to run him down?
Time will tell. 8 laps to go at New Hampshire. Chase Williamson has been on a little bit of a bad luck streak. He almost won at Michigan, had the lead on the white flag. Flash 9 passed him with a white flag move. He didn't do well at Watkins Glen. Oh, I think that was the 14 on the wall right there? I thought the 14 was literally stuck to the wall. It looked like he was slowing down a lot. Might have just been a glitch on the spectator mode. I got really worried right there for a second. I thought the 14, ooh,
Flash 9 into the wall.
Yeah, Flash 9 hit the wall hard right there, I think. I saw that 5 car pop off the wall. Let's see if that 5 has any damage. If there's any damage on that car, I'd say it's game over. I think that right side might be a little caved in.
He might have a little bit of damage. He hit it pretty good. I was riding right on the 5's roof cam, and when he hit that, and he definitely hit it with a little bit of force, that's for sure. He definitely hit it.
Possibly a race-ending hit right there for Flash 9 as Chase Williamson loves what he's seeing right now. Nothing but clear space for the youngster in the 14.
And he's got a nice big lead now. I wonder if he's a little bit on cruise control. That little slip up on Flash, like tagging that wall and kissing that wall, that may have just given him the space that he needed to put this race in the bag.
5 laps to go here at New Hampshire. Been a pretty hectic race. Lots of great strategy all around the race. Multi-groove racing. We got tire saving. We got guys getting loose on the seam. Everything you could possibly ask for on a driver's track. We got it here today as the laps are winding down. As Chase Williamson looks to pick up, I believe, his 2nd win of the season. Oh man, he definitely got a little tight right there. 4 to go. Easy there, Chase. Easy there. You got no pressure on you, buddy. Back it down. I'd be telling you that if I was his crew chief right now, I'd be telling him back off those corners. You got no pressure on you.
Yep. Use that throttle control. You don't need to slam it down. Just nice and easy. You got plenty of lead. You got plenty of cushion. Nice and easy, and bring it home.
As the laps continue to wind down. We look at all the different stage winners, and our prediction looks as though it may come true here. Stage 1 and Stage 2 winners will not win this race unless something crazy happens here.
And it would definitely have to be real crazy because we're coming right here to the wire now.
Out of turn number 4. Getting the 2 to go signal here from New Hampshire for the Granite State 150. Easy through the corners, backing it down, hitting the marks. No pressure from behind. Clear sailing ahead of the 14 as well. Everything you want to see as a Chase Williamson fan, you got it.
Yep, and those guys, those first 3 guys, I think they're kind of little cruise control as we have 1 lap to go now that we had in the last lap.
White flag out for Chase Williamson as they head into turn at number 1. Very quiet for most of the race, sitting there about 6th, 7th. He slowly worked his way up to the front as it was reported to us early on that he was going to be the car to beat. Well, I'll tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen, on this last stage, he definitely was the car to beat. Through 3 and 4 for the final time as Chase Williamson leaves turn 4 with no scratches on the car. Chase Williamson is going to win the Granite State 150 at New Hampshire.
Wow, what a race, man. What a race. These guys bring it every single week. What a tremendous race. Congratulations, Chase Williamson, on picking up the 2nd win of the season. And right there at the line, as there was a big battle for 4th, as JWoww was able to beat Slade for 4th position. That was the battle there at the end, as It's Your Bro Chase gets to win. Oh man, Flash 9 in 2nd, Clash in 3rd, JWoww 4th, Slade in 5th, Mike RPM in 6th, Man Perky 7th, Cyberonic gets home 8th, Kill It Like Jason 9th, and P. Cola Gator gets a top 10.
Good comeback for the 3 who struggled all race long. But the 14 is going to take the win here. As we wait to get our driver interviews here and get our top 3 into the Discord here to talk to them about today's race here for the Granite State 150. A great race for sure. Wait to get a hold of Chase Williamson, Flash 9, and JCR Clashin, a very well-known top 3. These guys have been in the interview room quite a few times here. As we just wait to get these guys in. As we got Flash 9 already, waiting on the rest of the field to get in here, or at least the top 3. Currently got Flash 9 in here as we wait for our remaining top 2 drivers to hop in here to talk about today's race.
And that was, man, what a tremendous finish that was. And, man. Whew. And there we go. We got we got our 3rd place. Now we're just waiting for the winner to join us on in here.
As we wait for our winner, let's go ahead and get some of these interviews started here. Oh, no, he's here. He is here. He is here. Okay, there he is. He was celebrating a little too much there. He forgot about the broadcast. Chase Williamson, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. My bad.
You're good, my man. You're good. Chase, hey, we talked about it, man, how you've had speed all season long, but you just kind of haven't had that luck lately. Had the lead late in Michigan, ended up finishing 2nd. Watkins Glen, we all know what happened there. Atlanta, we all know what happens there as well. Talk about it, man. Your 2nd win of the season. How'd you get it done?
Oh, I guess just racing, just hit my marks and trying to get fast. Car was outstanding. First stage, just kind of just rode around, just played the cars, just chilled for a little bit. Didn't want to push too early, and all. And 2nd stage, I knew at the first stage I fell back a little far. I needed to get back up there, so I pushed. So I didn't push it 100%. I pushed about 80% to get up there, and I made a great pit stop call, which I knew that if I could pit by myself, pit real early and then get by myself, I knew what I had in my car. I just didn't want to show everybody else that then in practice now they could adjust and catch up to me. But so then I just kind of got on myself and then run my pace about 90%. And then it put me in a good spot for stage 3. And then I was having trouble catching the 5 there before pit stops. During the middle of the run, he didn't take as I went full fuel. I think he went half fuel or whatever. I could catch him about a 10th in the corners, but he beat me back on the straightaways. So then finally when the long run kicked in, that's when my car really shined at. And then end up easing to him and had a good battle with him. I decided to come to pit road, and after that, it was just hammered down. And so what we got, what we had is what we had. I mean, ended up going away with the win.
About to say, man, I know you. I've raced with you plenty of times. There's no way you were driving 7th, 8th place 100%. We kind of said in the booth, this dude's got to be saving his stuff a little bit. Just real quick before we let you go here, obviously talk to us about with New Hampshire. You and I have driven this track plenty of times. It's a tire eating track. We know this. Why back your pace down at the beginning? Even though you know you have the speed to go up there and take the lead, why back that pace down during those stages and everything? Talk to us about that.
I guess really just to kind of save your tires a little bit, but I mean, kind of just not to like overdrive and just kind of just it's real important at New Hampshire to back off early and try and get back in it early and get that drive center off, because you fight center off in the long run there, your drive, and depending on how loose you are, I mean everybody gets really loose there, so I kind of just back my pace down there, and I think it's real important too, just at the start, and which will allow you to have that long run pace like I had tonight, which allowed me to keep getting that forward drive off and pull up under people and pass them.
Absolutely, Chase. For anyone out there who likes driving NASCAR E5 New Hampshire, there's some tips from your race winner, Chase Williamson, on what to do to be the fastest guy here. Chase, congrats on your win, my man. Long overdue there. It's been a little while since you've won, but go celebrate this win, have some fun, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all for all y'all doing the broadcast. I do a heck of a job.
Happy to do it, my man. Happy to do it. That is Chase Williamson, your winner here from New Hampshire. Let's go ahead and talk to our second place runner-up. So close to maybe getting 2 in a row. Flash 9, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Flash, man. we thought maybe you were chasing down that 14 there, but I know it was only a 1-lap difference of tires, but it looked as though you may have popped that wall a little bit there. Did that affect your car there those last few laps?
I mean, at that point, I knew I wasn't going to catch him. I probably came in 1 or 2 laps too early, but I couldn't have stretched the fuel anymore, so I took a can and a half anyway on the last stop, and I was a lap short, so about 5 to go. Like right after I popped the wall, I was just kind of, letting it coast into the corners. I was in a spot where, really no one was going to catch me if I just kept it straight, so I was really just trying not to run out of fuel there, but I knew I had to worry about the 14. It was a lot of fun leading all those laps at a track that I really did not like before tonight. So I'm pretty fortunate to finish second. I'll take it and move on.
Absolutely, Flash. We talked about before how consistency always pays out, and we talked about how every point matters and whatnot. It's you being someone who is going for a regular season championship, possibly just to get as many points as possible. Tell the viewers back at home how every point makes a big difference.
I mean, you could see the difference just from, the way the points were after Atlanta, and then you look at them again after last week. I was 4th in points, and the way that Clashin and JWoww have been running all season, I didn't expect JWoww to, have a bad race last week, and it cost them a lot. So, Clashin's still finishing on the podium, with me. So it's just a couple points here and there, but we got enough time. Just try to, at least stay around him, get a point here or there, and, maybe it'll come down the last few laps to get that regular season title. It'll be pretty exciting.
Absolutely. Well, Flash 9, definitely a contender for a regular season title. He finishes second here at New Hampshire, close to getting back-to-back wins, but we'll see what he does next week. Flash, thank you so much for being with us today.
All right. Thanks, guys, for a killer broadcast, and congrats, Chase, and Clashing on top 3s.
And speaking of our third place finisher, Clashin, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Clashin, again, consistency pays off here. A P3 finish for you, another podium. Talk to us about that race. It looked as though you may have not had that pace to be the top speed car, but it looked as though you had a really fun time battling for position there and whatnot. Talk to us. How did your race go? what's it like driving a track like New Hampshire with pretty much no banking whatsoever? How does that change your driving style for a race like this?
So I usually like New Hampshire, but stage 1 started mid-pack, got up to top 3, and then made a mistake and went into JWoww, and then I wrecked, but recovered to 4th or 5th. So that stage 2, the same thing, but I forget what happened. I think I short-pitted by too much. And in stage 3, I just got a bad set of tires. I was just off pace. Like you said, didn't have the pace, but I felt like I had the fastest car.
All right, okay.
Made a lot of mistakes.
I like it. Hey, just don't look at me. I'm just the broadcaster. We just call the race as we see it. You definitely had a fast car. You definitely had a fast car for sure. It looked as though maybe just like a tick little better. The 5 was, the 14. I don't know. Hey man, you do your thing. Next week you prove me wrong. You go get the best car. You go win the race, so that way you can jab back at me next week in the winner's circle. Let's make that a plan for next week.
Oh, good. The 5 and the 14 are fast. It's just stage 1 and 2. I felt like I had the fastest car. In stage 3, just they had the best cars that mattered. They adjusted to the track changes. I failed to do so.
All good. Hey, all in good fun right there. Clashing P3 again. Your points leader still after this week continues to be the best car all season long. See, I got your back. See, he's been the best car all season long. I will say that, everybody. He's been the best car all season long. He continues to do that here with a P3 finish. But Clashing, always a pleasure. Thanks for being here. Congrats on your P3.
Yeah, thank you. Congrats to Chase on the second win and almost back-to-back wins for Flash 9.
Absolutely, indeed. Well, Shady, that's our top 3, and that's the conclusion of this race in New Hampshire. Closing thoughts from you, Shady. What'd you think about today's race?
Well, man, we saw a lot of magic at the Magic Mile at New Hampshire, man. And as we come down to the wire, we're going to have 4 races left. We're headed to Charlotte next week, brother. I can't wait already. We have to wait a whole nother week before we get to Charlotte, but I'm ready. I wish I could race it tomorrow, man. These guys put on one heck of a show every single Wednesday night here on this channel. It's a blast being up here, a blast watching these guys. I get so excited just even getting ready for this race. These guys are putting on one heck of a show, and it's only getting heated up as we get to the home stretch of this season, man.
Absolutely, indeed. I could not say it any better than myself right there. New Hampshire delivered some incredible racing from start to finish. And at the end of the day, Chase Williamson reigns on top with Flash 9 second and Clashing in third as the regular season title begins to close in more and more. And we get to see who will be fighting for that regular season title before the playoffs. Well, guys, that is going to do it from here at New Hampshire. My name is Joey Stone, a.k.a. Sloppy Joe. He is Shady Acres, and we are happy to give you this broadcast. We hope you enjoyed it just as much as we did, and we'll see you guys next time at Charlotte here for the PRCS. I will get that down one day. The PRCS League here on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Congratulations to Chase Williamson on his win.